Vennerstrom replacing that center guard. Will be a future number 5 player at the Olympics.
Och så du machst det.
Ja. Probier nochmal.
Okay, lang ist gut gewesen, gleich.
Lang ist gut gewesen.
Ja.
Ein mehr Eis. Schneller! Schneller! Bisschen mehr! Weiter raus! Backline! Achtung! Backline! Weg! Achtung! Ja! Ja! Ho! Ho! Ho!
Alina. Fast. Well done. Hårt! Kör! Långt ut! Var med! Ganska bra! Ja, denna går långt ut! Om ni kan! Ja, jag tycker den är lite lång. Lite långt! Ja! Bakom tid! Hårt! Bakom tid! Hårt! Vicka! Hårt! Det är bra fart.
Okay, so we are back after a little technical problem, and we're sorry for that. Martin did his best to solve it, so now I think we're all fine. So anyway, my name is Roger Golka. I'm commenting this morning with Bastian Vis, this quarterfinal of the Curling Champions Tour event here in Basel. Miriam Ott against Margaretha Sigfridsson. So one of those two, I'd say, pretendants to the title this weekend will be eliminated today already at the quarterfinal stage. So big game for both teams. And already a lot of offense going on in this end. And now Miriam Ott, who won the last stone draw there just at the start of the game, is trying to think, how am I going to be able to score 2 with that situation? So she has her shot nice and buried. And she's looking at coming into a little port between the two reds in the top of the house and maybe trying to freeze on the red at the back of the forfeit circle. She really has to be careful not to leave a double on her yellows, though, and be at least on the tee line, if not a little bit faster.
Dann wäre es lang gewesen. Also 14,5.
Ich habe gesagt, so
Nein, jeder
14,
ist
2
gut
ist es schon.
Fein, ne?
Ja.
Ja. So wie beim
So
Einspielen.
90 kannst du gut.
Ja, würde ich auch sagen.
90.
Okay. Gut, wenn ich ihn sogar noch ein bisschen tappen kann, aber einfach nicht raus.
Okay.
It's already quite a complicated shot there. Right in the first end. That's also, I think, when the team preparation comes into consideration, because 8 in the morning, well, played already quite a few games this weekend, and you have to be ready right up the first end. Ooh. Finally, that rock seems to be coming up short. They have to be careful not to leave a double on their yellow, so not really what she wanted, I think, but it's better than setting up an easy double. And there's Maria Prutz maybe looking out, hitting and rolling off her red to the center. I think there's the space for that. Maybe with a hack weight. Maybe bump the yellow a little bit. Or a direct draw. If they manage to tuck one in there, it's going to be complicated for Miriam Ott to remove it. Or at least, even if she leaves the yellow shot rock, it'll be now difficult to score 2 for the Swiss team. She curled a little bit too much.
Too little.
Huh?
Too little. She hit that outside rock first.
Oh.
Now the question is, how do you get your 2 points in there?
I think she can just go through that port there between the 2 reds. Top of the 12-foot. And I think if she freezes more or less onto her yellow, she will be second shot. So we hear here Miriam Ott and the sweepers talking about what speed she has to play. The sweepers, you can see on the broom there, have timers. And they take the time usually from the back line to the hog line when the players slide out, which gives them already an idea of the speed once the rock is released out of Miriam Ott's hand.
And again, doesn't curl quite enough and jams in the red, so that would be 1 for Team Miriam Ott in the first end. Here in the quarterfinal at the Women's Masters in Basel.
Okay.
Ja, perfect.
Marine. Vorne 4, hè? Goed.
Die Länge jetzt super gehabt.
Ja.
Das ist nicht fein, hä? Sie
Ja,
hat 82 gespielt.
Ja.
So now Sigfridsson managed to give up the hammer, well, to take back the hammer for only 1 point. So mission accomplished, and we're going to start the second end. The Swedish team having the last rock. And they will probably try and attack a little bit to try and score
Vorne
2.
12, 8, ist gut. Sieht endlich lang aus.
Ja.
T-Line. Sieht gut aus. Ja, ist T-Line, ist gut. Hinten 4. T-Line.
Die Seite ist ein bisschen feiner.
Gell, irgendwie schon. Wie bremst so noch ab? Gut, schön.
And so the Swiss draw the center. And now I think we'll see Mary Pritz asking her skip actually to play corner guard.
Ja.
And there is Margaretha Sigfridsson, lead and skip of this team.
Ja, bra fart, ganska nära. Ligga här då. Kalla ganska mycket. Ganska sned, men det gör inget. Fint. Bra.
And now we see Miriam Ott asking for a guard, which is an interesting call. By blocking that rock in the center, she will start drawing the game to the middle. Because I think that Maria Pritz will ask after to play a freeze onto that rock in the center. Either a freeze or a little tap. So they need to get that guard as close as they can to the house. And I don't know if it's going to be in front. No, it's not really guarding that yellow shot, which will allow the Swedish team to play a little, I think, normal or hack weight. Try and do a little hit and roll. Well, either there was a little bit too much ice or Carmen Kung was a bit wide. However, the guard is not there. Well, it's still in the center and can be used for later. A lot of sweeping asked. And finally, it's like a little soft peel.
Well, certainly not a too bad outcome either, considering the fact that Team Sigfridsson still does have the last rock. The middle's open again.
Yeah.
Wasn't quite what was intended, but not a total disaster.
Well, it's how we could say a good miss.
Definitely.
Pushes one more corner guard. And now Alina Petz will try and replace that center guard. Try and put it better. And once again, that rock seems a little bit wide. Miriam doesn't want it in the house. And it's going to be once again a little bit wide. And roughly the exact same shot for the Swedish now to be played.
50. Din var lite hårdare. Din. Ja. Maria, visst var min lite tight? Ja, lite grann, men inte så mycket. Spela 50. Ja. 50. Försiktigt. Försiktigt, var med, ja. Nej. Ja, ja, nej. Försiktigt bara. Nej, ja, kör då. Nej, nej, nej. Fint spel.
Skulle till mera.
And now we're going to be playing that little hit and roll game. Maybe the team who will manage to hit and roll first will have a big advantage now, especially with that nice close center guard. And did they sweep it a little bit too much? Aye.
Samma fart. Ja, jag har någon centimeter luft nu. Ja.
Those hits and rolls are Actually, really important shots. If you manage to get them really nicely, you've got such a big advantage on the other team. But of course, it's really complicated. You need to have really that perfect combination between direction and speed. Sweepers really have to call the speed of the rock perfectly so that the skip can anticipate the trajectory of the rock. And now they're all hitting on the nose right now. So they're just trying to play a little way now. No need to speed up the rock. Trouble now is that if you do the hit and roll, you will be further and further from the forfeit now. So even if Carmen Schaefer makes that shot perfectly, she will not place a rock that will be in a very good position to steal. And once again, the curl needed. It seems like Miriamot switched her mind, get the roll to the other side. So I wonder if all the players are just playing a little bit wide, or if the ice is not curling enough. And maybe the players are a little bit surprised. Anyway, now Maria Pritz asking the other curl. Do again the hit and roll. Well, if she makes it, she'll probably be placed in the forfeit. Top of the forfeit. And we have Christina Bertrup. And yeah, we hear the Swedish saying, sorry, yeah, we swept it a little bit too much. It was quite a fast takeout, actually. Maybe it was a little faster than what they expected. Faster you hit the rock, the further you're going to roll, so maybe if the hitting at the same angle with a little bit less speed would have been really perfect. But anyway, that rock is still open, and now Carmen Schaefer with a, actually I would say a tricky takeout on the side though, huh?
Yeah, certainly it's not that easy to play, as this is certainly a path where has not been played in. And it can always curl a bit differently in a spot where there have not been a lot of rocks so far.
Yeah.
Hits it right on the nose, and now...
Yeah, well, generally, I mean, we saw this weekend a lot, actually there's quite a lot of curl on the side. And that sometimes players and teams have been a little bit surprised by that. And they have to be careful when they play. This is probably also why Carmen Schaefer put a bit more weight on her rock, just to make sure the trajectory will be straighter and easier to predict.
Yeah, first thing you want to do in a game is certainly at the start hit all the rocks you want to hit.
Yeah.
Straight miss would be a great chance for the opposition, so that is certainly a thing which has to be avoided.
Yeah.
And so you rather stick one on the nose at the start of the game instead of just flashing it with when intending to roll to either side.
Yeah, well, actually, even if you don't make all your shots perfectly, I mean, if you don't make the perfect hit and roll, I mean, if you don't miss a shot, that means that you don't flash a rock by on a takeout or just draw through the house or don't pass the, I don't know. If every time you get at least some results, you're already quite hard to beat. I mean, if you don't miss, if you don't have any zeros. This is actually something always the teams are practicing on, is actually get the maximum of every rock they get, of every rock they play. So already not missing any of your shots gives you a big advantage on the opponent. Even if you don't make every shot perfectly.
And now Miramot is playing the exact same shot as Carmen Schaefer before.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if she makes that hit and roll, if we'll see Maria Pritz trying to draw behind one of those guards. And here is Miriam Ott one of the most experienced women player in Switzerland. A lot of years of curling behind her, and quite a recent world championship title, which was won actually against Team Sigfridsson. Yeah, the Swedish team being actually quite unlucky in the finals of the World Championships, having lost to Miriam Ott and having lost to Eve Muirhead this year in Riga. While the Swiss team of Silvana Tiranzoni had finished 5th, having played a good World Championship actually, and finally just losing very closely to the USA in the tiebreak after eliminating Russia in the first tiebreak. So that was quite a good result from the Swiss team, who sadly just didn't manage to make it to the 4, but they were there. The Swedish team having kind of dominated the whole competition to finally lose in the final against Eve Muirhead, after actually beating them in the 1-2 game. The same way I think it was the same with Miriam Ott. They beat Miriam Ott in the 1-2 game and then lost against them in the final. And Maria Pritz hitting right on the nose once again. Teams yet haven't managed to get any of those hits and rolls. And now Miriam Ott on her last rock of the end. Although, yeah, last yellow rock of the end. Will try and get it and force the Swedish team to score 1 and take back the hammer for only 1 point. If she stays open, we will see the Swedish playing a peel to do 0 and keep the last rock for the 3rd end. Meanwhile, if you have any questions or comments about or commentating about the game, then don't forget to write to us at live@curlingchampionstore.org. Yesterday we had all kinds of interesting emails from in Poland and Romania. So I know it's quite early in the morning, but if you're already awake to watch curling there, don't hesitate. We're there to answer your questions, and hard sweeping there. Swiss who want to at least, of course, hit the rock. Oof, and that's really close. Miriam Ott, that really didn't give very much ice. I don't know if it was enough or if she was a little bit inside anyway. Seems like the Swedish are looking at a possible split.
It's very tough though. But certainly makeable.
What are they looking at? Oh, yes. She would have to hit that yellow rock really thin if she wants to roll into the house. Seems like she's going for it. I think she will play probably a hack weight or something. And if ever they see they're not making it, then we'll probably try and sweep it through the house. And interesting attempt there from the Swedish team.
Good attempt, but well, that is not too bad either. It's nothing on the board for the Swedish team, so they get to keep the last rock advantage in the next end.
Yeah. Well, if she had curled maybe just a little bit more, then she probably would have made it. So it was quite close, but I think she decided, I'm just going to throw a normal takeout, hit it nice and thin, and see what happens. And if she was a little bit too thin, at least she would have rolled out and not scored 1. So I think a well-played shot there from, well, nice try, I mean. Well-played shot from Maria Pritz. She at least made sure that she didn't get the result, that she couldn't get the result she didn't want. That means just scoring 1. As we know, sometimes it's strange in curling. You don't want to score. You'd rather do 0 and keep the last rock for the next end and take your chance again. And here we're still 1-0 in this quarterfinal of the Curling Champions Tour event here in Basel. This women's master, Miriam Mott of Switzerland, playing against Margareta Sigfridsson from Sweden.
Känns lätt alltså under sliden. 45. Bra fart. Behöver dra lite. Kommer fint nu. Nu är det en bra linje. Titta upp. Linjen är fin. Dra den om ni vill. Bra nära. Ja, den är nära. Ja. Magan.
Another corner guard going up by the Swedish team, and again the counter of the Swiss Olympic team.
Yeah, and another, let's say, classical opening. Team ahead, just placing one in the center. Thing though that Miriam Mott is not satisfied where it's placed. It's just behind the tee line. But the Swedish place their corner guard now. Seems like the Swedes are thinking about either a hack or just a draw.
Behöver så mycket fart. Jag tror det. Det har ju stått där spåret nu. Jag tror inte att det är lättare än så faktiskt. Ja, ja. 65. Ja! Ja, linje! 10! 10!
And it was finally a draw, chosen by the Swedish. Once again, Maria Pritz is probably a little bit slow and maybe a little bit inside, who knows, but at least a little bit slow for sure. And well, she stays as a corner guard, so not a catastrophe, but yeah, if Miriam Mott blocks it, that rock is quite hard to get out now. So the Swedish will probably be running a little bit after the Swiss now in this end. Usually always know who was running after the other team. If there's one team who just has to place a draw and the other team that has to always take out.
Looks quite good. Closes up the gap.
And now the Swedes will be forced to do a peel. I think the idea would be to get rid probably of both yellows, if not the 3 yellows. The triple is there. So pretty good shot there.
Clears things up a bit, but still is not uncovering the yellow shot rock totally.
Yeah.
Miriam Mott just
replacing the guard. She has to make sure she places it roughly in the center line to avoid to leave a possibility to freeze onto that rock. So it's better to be a bit more on the right-hand side there from the camera, we see. I wonder actually if she could rather play actually one behind those two guards. Play it top 12, top 8 foot. That would also be a possibility.
Yeah, up to half covered maybe, so the shot rock is totally in behind the vet.
Finally, she's opting for the guard. They're calling it quite slow. I wonder how efficient this guard really is, being very far away from the rings. And Margaretha Sigfridsson looking at the peel. Try and open up the situation. I think she's not too afraid about that center guard here in the middle, the yellow one. Quite far away from the rings. The ice is quite swingy, so I don't think it's going to really bother them too much, even if the Swiss manage to get one behind. She has to be careful, I think, if she plays the peeling, not to hit the yellow on her own red, actually, on the left.
Nästan så tunt som möjligt på gul. Men ja, kan vi kanske skava in den andra röda då med den.
So finally just went for the yellow. Keep their two corner guards. I think Mariamont will probably guard it back again. I think she believes she can steal now in this end. Well, I think there will always be a draw at the button if worse comes to worse for the Swedish team.
This would also be an outcome which is favourable to the Swiss team, though. A force of one is actually a perfect thing to do if you are one up. So you get back to hammer. So it's basically a restart of the game after three ends. If Margaretha Sigfridsson would score one at the end of this end.
Yeah, and that guard not really well placed here. It allows Christina Bertrup to play the double peel on those two guards. The angle is just perfect there. Hit on the side, roll out, and get rid of all those yellows from the center. And that's mission accomplished. Even stays at some kind of quarter guard, so pretty good results, but Mariamont not worrying more than that. Just replacing a guard once again. I think probably at some point Margaretha Sigfridsson will ask for a freeze. We'll see where that guard ends, if it's far away or not, or if it's really close to the house, then maybe she would try go for a run back. So speed is really good. I think that guard is more or less one of the best guards she could have played there. I think a really good shot. But so Margareta Sigfridsson looking probably at the run back. She still doesn't want to try any draw. Or just at the double. Yeah, that would be interesting. Hit the red, bounce off the yellow, roll in the rings.
Nej. De ligger bara så. Men enkel, bara under.
Den röda är ju inte direkt i vägen.
Jag tänkte vi kunde trycka in den.
Vi tänkte det kan vara bra om vi får lite mer nästa gång har vi låter vicka bakom. Nästan bättre än att de får 2 tempo. Det kan de ju välja för ändå. Ja. Går det att slå och vicka in där då? Alltså...
Nej, det går att slå och trycka den en bit, men tar vi tunt så fastnar vi ju här.
Ja, just det.
Spela den då, spela samma träff som förra. Annars så tar vi ju bara den. Blir det inget bra det?
Blir att ta gadden och göra
Kom och
lite
titta
mer.
då.
Alltså, försöka göra
Kom och
lite-
titta Nina.
Ska jag knacka den rakt med lite tur. Så att vi ligger gadd för. Det är det som är. Nu är vi väldigt långt. Ja.
Ja, jag tänker bara att vi har lite mer alternativ om den ligger lite längre ditåt. Då har vi båda vägarna in. Det har vi ju inte nu. Nu har de ju stängt den här vägen.
Så
Ja, den är ju tunn halv. Som förra.
They're now discussing how to
Jag tycker
peel
vi
the
kan förlora på det.
guards with the best possible outcome.
Vad tycker du då?
yeah, and finally she decides to go
Vet du? Maggan tänkte?
hitting the yellow first.
Det är bra.
She'll probably try and hit it really thin.
Ja! Nej! Nej! Var med! Var med!
Bra spel. Kör Maggan, kör.
And she actually hit it.
And even buries
What? Perfectly there.
the red rock behind the corner guard. I don't think there is much more you can ask of this shot.
Yes, so we're talking about this, but in a way this can be considered as a key shot, as if she made it probably perfectly. I'm sure that it's not, the result is absolutely perfect. I think that probably the Swedish thought about it and all their long reflection. And
Ich will glaube Gard machen.
there, Miriamont has to be careful now, as there's quite a good setup for 2 for the Swedish. If ever their guard doesn't come really properly.
Fick du eens meer spats? Voor het 12, wegen 12 met de kaart. En dan kunnen we het opvullen. Ik verstoor die eetkids. Ja. Jugendliche Ehrgeiz, meinst du das?
Mit die 12 Fuß.
Ja.
Mit die 12 Fuß.
Tipptopp.
Sind wir noch gleich fein?
Ja, het is nu ruiger.
Ja. Daar is hij. Ja.
Nicht zu weit oben.
80. Ja, nu 85. 80 of 80 punten.
And it seems like actually she's forgetting about the guard, so she doesn't really want to steal anymore in that end apparently. And just wants to make sure that the Swedish don't score more than 1, leaving them an open house for that. And she's going for the corner freeze onto that red rock. So a little tactical change now. I think that's the situation that requires it. Yeah, that's a pretty good shot. No double there.
Yeah, not quite a corner freeze, but there is certainly no chance of removing both yellows and lying 2.
Well, I think the angle to hit both yellows is sends the first yellow one onto the red. So as we see, the Swedish are not even looking at that. On top of that, the angle is quite complicated. Just a hit and roll, as Margaretha Sigfridsson is showing. Probably a good option if she can hit and roll to the middle in front of that yellow rock. You could take quite good position. Then probably Miriamot would be finally just throwing a guard at this. We will see what happens.
Vill du spela en 10?
10? They are now trying to hit and roll to the middle. So if ever Miriam Ott would decide to remove that rock as well, she would have a tough time because there is Miriam Ott's own stone lying behind it.
It's quite a fast takeout and really good shot there.
Great outcome.
Yeah.
It's certainly now not very easy to remove.
Yeah, finally got that roll where they wanted. And I think that Miriam Ott, like we said, is probably just going to throw a guard at it.
Ja. 2-0, ja.
Achtung, daar zo heb je Salina.
Yeah.
Just as we say in 3. 3 guard would be just in front of the house where Miriam Ott, the height where Miriam Ott is showing. She really needs to make sure that if she guards it, that she is really perfectly in front of that red rock. She also has to be careful because she could leave a peel. Red rock not covering entirely the yellow one. If she guards perfectly the red one, probably that Maria Pritz, very precise player, can manage to just pick out that yellow with a hard takeout. And score her 2. So possibility also to just a tap with a hack weight. Tap and roll. Quite a tough shot too, and she could also leave a double. So big discussion on what's the shot to choose. I don't know, what would you personally choose? Just the guard as she's doing?
I actually would probably play the guard too, because if you try and take out the second shot rock, then you will basically always roll out, or you will have a tough time of keeping your shooter.
Or you have to go with the really light hack weight.
Yeah, that can go wrong easily.
Yeah, well, they played already a lot of guards in this end. I think they know the ice,
exactly.
They know the speed, and considering that,
I would say I would agree with it, because if you take out their second shot rock and roll out, you're always going to give them 2, as you're assuming that your opponent will make the shot. So, and in this case, if she manages to cover up a good part of those 2 rocks, then a 2 is still possible, but there is also a chance of the Swedish team missing something.
Well, I think she placed that rock really well. I don't know if she wanted to be that deep.
No, I think she wanted to end up as a guard, actually.
But I think that the result is actually quite good, considering it complicates Maria Pritz's shot for sure. And, well, at least now Miriam Ott is 100% sure she's not getting more than 2 scored on her, and it's quite difficult, huh? I don't even know if there's really a shot for 2.
You can't see a lot of that red one, which is supposed to be tapped back.
From this camera angle, you have the impression that there's enough space to push that red onto the yellow, but from this one, it looks much more complicated suddenly.
Eller kan 60 räcka?
So she really has to skim by that yellow rock,
Be really
tap her
careful.
red, push the yellow far enough,
Känns tajt i
maybe
den,
try
Maggan.
and score 2. So finally, this rock that was played at the start by Carmen Kung stayed there the whole end. It is susceptible to score.
Kala! Nej! Igenom! Upp! Igenom! Upp! Igenom!
Stoppa förbi
Hur
den,
långt
Maggan.
trycker vi?
Inte så... Ja, jag
Ja,
vet.
Don't
ja.
seem really convinced by that shot.
Skip, Maggan.
Ooh.
Ooh, and she nearly could have done a catastrophe there by actually just taking out her own rock, and that's a big steal of 1 there in the third end for the Swiss team of Miriam Ott against a big, tough Swedish team of Margareta Sigfridsson. And it's going to be 2-0 after 3 ends, and Miriam Ott in control of this game now, as the Swedish are running after the score and will need to probably try and score 2 as fast as possible in this 4th end that we're starting right now. We are here live from Basel in Switzerland. This is the Curling Champions Tour event. It's the Women's Masters. My name is Roger Gulkin. I'm commentating with Bastian Wies.
Now the Swiss team trying to put their first rock up in the forefoot. Comes up a bit light, but nevertheless, Maria Sigfridsson will put up the corner guard.
Bra fart! Kör den.
Det är bra linje!
Den glider. Linjen är bra. Ska vi är nära, ja. Ja. Nära. Nära. Den räcker. Bra. 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 Så. Zweiner!
And Miriam Ott, seeing that her tactic of putting one in the house and placing a center guard is working not too bad for now, is trying again, which will once again attract the game to the center. As you know, that when you don't have the last rock, you actually want to play in the center. Try and block this middle and take control of the zone in front of the button, in front of the forefoot. And they have quite a well-placed rock if they manage to guard it there. Probably we'll see Margareta Sigfridsson trying to place a freeze on it. Actually, Margareta Sigfridsson has missed 1 or 2 shots there recently in the last 2 ends and hitting the guards. Actually, in a way, that costed them quite a lot finally in that third end, because the shot she played that rubbed on the guard finally was aiming at the yellow rock that ended up scoring in the end. So sometimes a mistake from the lead can cost a lot, even if they're really early on in the end. So now she'll try and catch up her mistake and play good freeze there behind that guard.
Pass på! Nej, det är dött.
Wennerström.
4 tror jag.
Gärna dra!
Ja!
Bara
Ja! Hårt, 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 hårt!
This time it's passing the guard.
And passing shot rock, so trying to come around all of it. Just slides over the tee line.
Yeah, great shot. Too bad she's just behind the tee line. Maybe that was actually plan B. When they saw that it was just a little bit too fast, not curling enough, they just swept it across and got it hidden between all the rocks. And now key shot for Elina Petz, who can try and freeze and take a really good position on the button there.
Läge går!
Well, that's quite fast. And yeah, well, the Swedes in quite a good position now, but they have to start thinking out the end about how are they going to be able to score 2 now.
Yes, you certainly want to score at least 2 with hammer if you're in Margrethe Sigfridsson's situation, because being 1 down without is let's say a very difficult situation, as the opposition has the complete control over the game. If you're at least tied without, then you are on an even level.
Yeah, being 1 down with the last rock, you offer a good opportunity to your opposing team to score 2. And you don't want to fall back 3. So it means that you really have to be catching up. So now Miriamot is in the driver's seat. And oh, it just got that little bump, the little rub and bounce that you don't want when you try and freeze onto a rock, because it was so close. It's just so close, but you just bump enough so that you end up not frozen. And this allows actually it allows a good double takeout there. And Miriamot asking Alina Pets for a quite fast takeout, 9 seconds from hog to hog. I think if you hit it roughly on the nose, just a little bit on the outside there, that would be probably quite good. Could even maybe roll a bit towards the corner guard.
Sweeping it right out of the hand. Nice shot by Alina Pats, who usually doesn't play for this team.
Yep.
I think we mentioned it earlier, she will be the 5th player for the Olympic Games in Sochi next year. But usually she plays skip for her own team.
So Marina Wetterström with that little bounce offering the double to the Swiss, who took their chance and right away made the shot. A good double from Alina Petson, who even managed to roll a bit to the side, but just not far enough to be hidden behind that corner guard. And now Maria Wennerström will try and catch up her little mistake, I would say, but that costed a lot by playing a good double. And a good shot there.
Doesn't quite succeed in removing both rocks, but still gets both of them at least out of the scoring area.
Yeah, well, she removes those 2 rocks from the top of from the front of the tee line. It opens up the situation in the center, and their red rock is still not too badly placed, even though it's maybe 3/4 open. And Miriamot asking Carmen Schaefer just for a little hack weight. We can see that Carmen Schaefer has a really nice tongue piercing.
And besides that, plays great shots.
Yeah, that's a really good shot played. And the Swiss in control now of the end. They're in control of the game and control of the end, but always have to be careful in these curling situations, can switch really, really fast. One good shot from the Swedish and one even half miss from the Swiss can completely change the situation in a very, very short period of time. So you always have to stay focused and focused. Not to be surprised. Christina Bertrup was right off the bat, didn't seem particularly satisfied with her shot. And indeed, well, it's shot, but it's scoring right now, but it's behind the tee line, so it's certainly not going to score at the end of this end. She wanted it actually just on the opposite side of the house. It means top 4 foot, but in front of tee line. And now Carmen Schaefer will just probably play roughly the same shot and freeze on that red rock.
Schöner Knopfli. 4 vor 8. Vor 8. Erster Schluss. Vor 4. Scarlett. Vor 4. T-line. 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 Ist drauf. Nein. T-line.
So good shot there. Yeah, well, now the Swedes are just going to tap it a little bit back.
Kala! Tryck inte så mycket, mest bara frys. Kala, vi ligger här. Ja, den stannar av mer. Det är där i bara frys, max. Det är frys. Precis, ja, frys. Precis, ingen dött. Det är dött.
Ja, liten dött.
Ja, liten dött är också.
Det är en sten nästan.
Well,
Okay.
I don't think Christina Bertrup will be really satisfied with that shot. She wanted to curl a little bit more.
It's now lying open.
Now Miriam Ott once again actually in a good situation to steal there if she can manage to get one nice and tucked behind that guard. We see here the lead in second talking about the strategy. They're on the other side of the ice, but they already prepare themselves to sweep the shot.
It's very important that as a lead and a second you have an idea of what is going to be played next. Because if you don't, then you cannot anticipate any sweeping, and maybe you are totally surprised by a line call because you thought you were talking about something else to do.
Yeah, well, the sweepers must know really what the shot has to be, what is the worst thing to do, what is plan B in case, you know. So the sweepers can be ready, they can call, they can say, you know, sometimes you hear the sweepers say, oh, try the wick, you know, try to
plan B.
Yeah, because the rock is a little bit fast or whatever. So, and sometimes there are situations where the sweepers, for example, are not allowed to leave a rock short. Or if the rock's a little fast, then they have to make sure that it curls enough so they mustn't sweep it. Well, if it's fast, you don't sweep it, or like that they have to sweep it for whatever reason. So the sweepers really always have to be well aware of what's the shot to play. Well, remember, we were always talking about what was the shot that anticipating always the skip's decisions. Generally, I remember we being quite right, because the whole team usually kind of agrees on the tactics to play. And now there's a little team discussion about how to do exactly. Do they want to hit that rock finally? It seems like they maybe want to push it a little behind and roll to the center.
Carmen ist 90, also etwa 85 ist Miri.
Ja.
Oder?
Aber der Hack, weißt du, wenn wir abgespielt haben, der hat ja auch viel gehört.
Ja, das ist nicht wie ein Görlet. Wenn ich noch ein bisschen gerade habe, dann
genau.
geht er raus.
Ja, sag einfach
Ich will noch T-Line kommen. Okay. Over T. 85 so. Ja.
Ja, 80.
80.
So this is Miriam Ott.
Es ist nicht mehr so fein, es ist 14 Uhr.
Swiss skip. Silver medalist at the Olympic Games in Turin, 4th in Vancouver. I think she finally wants to get her gold in Sochi. Good sweeping there.
Så.
Oh, and I don't think
Kan vi inte
she's
Just
really
over-curled a
satisfied
bit.
with that.
få i alla fall.
I think there's actually catastrophical setup there.
Eller det dumt, den där
Vad
andra
bra
ser.
skippat det var, för jag trodde verkligen den skulle bli bra.
Som
Den här
precis som hon
sitter kvar
trodde.
här. Min lilla touchen och så.
Nej, ja, på den möjligtvis, eller där. Men den kommer ju ta bort den där. Jag funderar om man ska spela en...
Först, du vet väl kanske inte vad som händer.
Ja, då kommer någon dra.
Så den var ganska lös.
Tror du inte den här sitter i sexan?
Nej, jag tror att den kommer vicka hit. I fickan.
Yeah, it seems like they can hit
Ja, den kanske sitter rakt där.
on this rock
Vi frysar det
and
där.
get rid of the both yellows.
Vad är alternativet då?
Alternativet
We'll
är
just
att lägga sig. Känns som vi skulle kunna
roll like this.
Är det då den här handen vi ska gå på eller är det
den
här?
Vi går här i så
Ja.
fall.
Det är okej. Det är okej att trycka ner den lite också.
Ja, den har inte en till.
And while her red rock would probably end up finally rolling here,
Ja. Spela frysen och
or just staying.
få. Alltså vi kan ju trycka en 2
So they seem to be
centimeter
looking at the angles there.
bara så att vi är skott. Eller vi är
Or they
skott
could
på
also
frysningen.
just hit it on the right hand side of the red and roll a little bit to the side.
Vi får spela frysningen där.
Yeah, it finally works this thing.
Ska det väl vara.
Så att vi kommer ända
Den
fram.
behöver ju ändå ner. Den kan trycka umset. Ja.
Fina var 70.
Finally, it seems like she's going for a
75 euro. Allt spår.
draw, a little tap, and Mary Pritz
Ja, vi är där. Den är längre. Ja, var med. Bra fart. Lite
throwing
längre
her
tid.
rock to take good position now in the control zone.
Hårt! 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 Nej!
Needs to pass the guard,
Kolla.
and she's made it and goes directly on the yellow. That's actually a really good shot there.
Great line call.
De kan väl bara spela bort.
It's going to be really difficult to remove those reds. Well, maybe you could throw a rocket on the, hit the corner of the red on the left here and get, oh, it's very
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah, really tough in any way.
I don't think she's really looking at that.
Se, bara en fjärdedel av den vi la. Så kan ju inte träffa mitt emellan. Absolut. De är exakt jämnhöjd va? Ja, det kan vara någon. Jag tyckte de såg en fjärdedel, max en tredjedel.
Snack på den där.
Bra snack på den där. Var det ja du sa? Du sa va? Va? Ja. Skönt att vi hade sett dina där. Alltså, jag hade bra koll.
Yeah, so it seems like they've decided that discussing about hitting actually those reds like right in the middle. Try and get the double.
That's a dangerous rock. He's playing there.
Yeah. Last thing she wants to do is hit the guard. Last rock of the set for Miriam Mott. In a complicated situation finally.
Achtung! Kolla!
It looks close. Oh, and
Oh,
I don't know if it was possible because she really hit that rock exactly where she wanted, right in the middle. And now it's a draw for two for Maria Pritz with backing. So margin for error and lots of space there to come in. She just played that shot on her last one. She just has to throw exactly the same. The sweepers are just going to take care of it now. So it seems like the Swedish team is catching up there with a 2 that is drawing itself up right now. Swiss team crossing their fingers for something to happen. As Maria Pritz gets ready in the hack.
Bra linje. Ja. Med då. Med då. Bra fart. Ja. Bara fart, bara fart. Jag tror vi har. Ta den på linje snart.
And the sweepers don't seem too worried about it. I think they really need to make sure that they have enough speed for T-line. And look at the line because there is all that backing. And really absolutely no problem for Maria Pritz, who doesn't even need to touch that yellow to score her 2. And so the Swedes are back in the game. After 4 ends, it's 2-2 here in this Women's Masters in Basel, Arlesheim Curling Champions Tour event. We had the men's last weekend. This weekend it's the women. This is the quarterfinal. And both teams having qualified from the B road of this triple knockout tournament. Big quarterfinal against 2 teams that often meet, not only in those tournaments, but also at the World Championships, and who will meet later on at the Olympics. Good moment to take a little psychological advantage on your opponent for the Sochi Games, which will be the event, the curling event of this year. This is what all those teams have been preparing for the last 4 years. And they're getting really close to the moment of truth. So all those tournaments are really there to get them prepared in top shape for this event in February in Russia. And now the Swedes, who are back in the game with 2-2 without the hammer. Now in the 5th end, we'll just try and create a little bit of offense, starting with apparently a center guard. As Maria Sigfridsson, skip of this team, throws, slides out the hack.
So now we will have a interview with Team Sigfridsson for you, which was pre-recorded to the match. So enjoy.
Hi, we are Team Altele from Skellefteå in Sweden, and we are the Olympic team of Sweden. I like to introduce you to our 4th player, playing skip stones, and her name is Maria Pritz, and we grew up together in a little town called SWE. And now she lives in Härnösand, which is about in the middle of Sweden, and she has a lovely big family with 6 kids. Well, she is a wonderful player. She likes throwing the last stones, and she's very excellent at that. And she's kind of nice otherwise as well. Yeah.
Okay, then I would like to introduce our skip. It's Margareta Sigfridsson, and she's the lead and skip. It's a little bit different from many other teams, but it works really good for us. I like to play 4th rocks. I like to finish, but Magan has always been smarter than me, so I leave that task to her. Margareta is from SWE, like me, so we're playing together for a very long time, and we know each other quite well, so it's a very good friend to me. She's got 1 kid, and she's also a stepmother to 2 kids. So she's got a great family, and well, let's keep moving.
Okay, then I will talk a little about our second. Her name is Maria Wennerström, and also the one that I almost every competition we were roommates. We have very same routines, so that works out fine. Maria is born in Skellefteå, and that's the club we are representing, but she's now living in the same town as us, Sundsvall. She's played curling for about 15 years, I think. Yeah. She's the youngest person on this team, but she's the one who makes this team, how do you say, she has the control over things, and yeah, she keeps her part. Yeah, something. Yeah, that's about it.
And then, at last but not least, we have Christina Bertrup, also called Nina. She listens more to Nina than Christina. So, and as you said, we are roommates on the competitions. At home, she has twin sons, 8 years old, and a lovely dog called Steven. We spend a lot of time together on and off ice. So, big sister, almost.
And then? Yeah, that's a little bit about our team.
So we're back, and as you heard, it is quite a lot of effort that is put in by all these women, considering the fact that basically all of them have families, even families with as much as 6 children, which is
I'm impressed.
So am I, and they have been on the tour for quite a while now. They have been playing curling on top level for more than just this season. So
she certainly has a really good husband too.
Must.
Oh yeah, Sweden actually being the country in Europe where there are the most children per woman, thanks apparently to their really good social system. So, and Maria Prince is no exception apparently. So anyway, after a little bit of fun, back to serious stuff. And a nice hit and roll by Maria Wennerström, taking a good position there in the center. Everything is quite blocked. Maria Mott now is forced to open. Yeah, if she gets that hit and roll behind the guard, then she takes back a good position in the house.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to lose too many rocks. If you have last rock, as Maria Mott does now, you want to be able to actually generate pressure on your opponent, and the more rocks you have in the house, the easier this gets. And the hard sweeping.
Looks quite good. Looks like a good shot, indeed.
And you can hear it from her fellow players as well. They are all affirmative, well played, good shot. For those of you who are not that familiar with Swiss German.
Well, now Sigfridsson asking, I think it's Christina Bertrup to play a guard or draw a guard there, top of the 8-foot or the 12-foot. Well, very offensive option there. She has to make sure that this rock comes properly, as there are already 2 Swiss rocks in the house, especially one nicely placed behind that quarter guard. And good shot there from Christina Bertrup. Say bra. Bra in Swedish. Good. That's good. Something like that.
Yeah, I think that is a word.
Bra.
Yeah, well, and as always, if you have any questions or comments about the game, about the tournament, about anything concerning the sport of curling, we are happy to help, if we can, of course.
No, wait, we're encyclopedias.
Yeah, basically
we know everything, so whatever.
Just throw these questions at us if you have any. You can see the email address where you can send your messages and questions to. It's live@curlingchampionstour.org. You see this at the bottom of your screen now. And
the address of the live curling coverage of the Curling Champions Tour. Oh, I was close.
Margareta Sigfridsson just asking to replace this rock.
Yeah, Swedes really are not allowed to do any mistake there. There's already 2 Swiss rocks in the house. Actually, a good placement would be behind that center guard, top of the 8 foot. I think that would be a good positioning. But it looks really slow. And finally, it just guards. And Miriamot will go for the double peel. There is a possible triple there on the 3 reds. I think Miriamot is looking at it.
Well, very important with those rocks. You have to stick for what is important to what is important. So in this case, certainly remove the 2 guards and don't think about the triple.
Yeah, the triple is like a plus, I would say.
It's like an extra. But the double itself is hard enough. So
seems that it's there.
Ooh, gets a bit unlucky there.
Yeah. A little bit unlucky maybe on that counter with the red, removing it from behind that corner guard. She stays nearly with the center guard, but actually it's a good rock plate. She got rid of those 2 yellows. Of those 2 red rocks, those 2 red guards, sorry. And now, once again, Maria Pritz has to be really careful about what she's doing, even though now those 2 yellow rocks at the back of the rings are not as dangerous as they used to be before. Well, either you can guard, push, or even just place a second shot behind those guards. I mean, there are options.
Är det en 30? Ja, eller en 20? Slå ner och vicka. Vad vill du? Det går inte att spela den andra, va? 30 är okej. Va? 30 är okej. Ja. Ja, visst. Det är bra.
Seems like they decided to hit their own red. And a lot of yelling there. Oh. Not good.
that is definitely the worst case scenario for this shot.
Yeah, she didn't even stay with her shooter. Probably she flipped it a little bit inside because Margareta Sigfridsson yelled right off the start. And this rock curled quite a lot. So now Miriam Mott looking at laying 3 in the house with an open hit and stay. I think maybe she would like to roll a little bit to the side. She will leave for sure a double takeout, I think. But she has a really good chance of scoring at least 2 now. Possible 3, who knows? Must be careful not to leave a triple, or she must make sure she stays in the house, and it seems like it's curling again a lot. And oh la la. Yes, indeed.
Oh.
Yeah, Miriam Ott not happy at all with this shot.
Well, understandable. She is shot rock twice, but leaves a, well, I'd say, fairly easy double for Maria Pritz.
Yeah, now the chance is blown by, and this would have been another key shot there. As we say, if you just do that hit and stay, it's nothing particularly complicated, even though sometimes it's a little tricky on the side. And both rocks have been thrown inside there, the 2 last rocks, and now instead of lying 3, there's even a possibility maybe for Maria Pritz to lie 2, forcing finally Miriam Mott to score only 1, having 1 shot ago a chance to get 3 rocks in the house. And again, a lot of yelling. Oh la 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 la. And finally the Swiss are back in it. So 3 rocks in a row that curled more than expected. So there's either the ice or the player, really. And now Miriam Mott taking the other curl with just a simple hit and stay, as we see the lead in second, cleaning the ice. Miriam Mott doesn't seem though so sure about the ice she's giving it. Did she actually check if she's shot rock or not? Doesn't seem particularly clear. If the yellow is lying shot, then she just has to play a draw.
Well, if you're insecure in a situation like that, you rather just hit it.
Yeah, if you're not sure at all, you go for the hit. If you're not shot, you go for the hit. But if you're 100% sure you're shot, then just draw.
From this angle,
seems like it's the yellow from this angle.
Yeah,
sure.
I agree.
Sani,
But still, they decide on the takeout.
Ja, så. Om 3 maal moet slukken, neem je een glas liever. Tip-top.
Hoe lang komt?
Sani. Goed.
Miriam Mott taking no chance, guessing who's shot. Just going for the hit. It's 10.5 normal takeout.
Looks okay. Yeah, and we'll stick to the rings.
So finally a good takeout there.
So that means 2 go on the board for Team Miriam Mott.
They're retaking their 2-point lead now in the 5th end. So a good operation there from the Swiss team, who managed to get their 2 after going through a lot of ups and downs in those 2 at the end of this 5th end. And 4-2 for Switzerland. This is the quarterfinal of the Women's Masters in Basel, Switzerland, Curling Champions Tour event. And we're here live in the morning there, quite early. But if you like to wake up really early on Sundays, then you have the good chance to watch curling. Or you can just go to church.
Yeah, well, I think there's that's an easy decision.
Ja, zeker. Ja. Goed, schön. Ja, kannst du es ihnen sagen? Ja, ist gut, merci. Ja, nein, aber du kommst viel gut über. Sorry, sie
Mellan. Kommer curla tillräckligt den där. Hake. Ja, den är bra. Hake. Linjen är bra. Ganska nära nu. Ja, kör nära. Den räcker i linje. Den räcker så. Ursäkta.
And already well-known game. First rock top forfeit, then a corner guard, and now a center guard as a counter.
Once again, a classical opening. Swedish team still trailing. And good guard there from Carmen Kuhn. Switzerland having opened this end quite well. Dragging the game into the center once again. And now Margaretha Sigfridsson, defending champion. If you're watching last year, maybe you remember.
I think even the year before, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, double defending champion
of this tournament here in Basel.
And the loser teams will receive a prize money of about 1,500 Swiss francs. And the winner will win at the minimum 3,500 Swiss francs. So big money already. Winner of the tournaments actually get a prize of 10,000. Now once again, both teams just trying to get position there in the center of the house.
Jag tror det. Ja. Vi kan ta lite mindre, det är okej. Det har gått lite olika här. 5. Ja. 50! 45, 50! Ja! Ja! Hårt! Hårt!
Oh.
Ja.
Wennerström clearing up some of those yellow rocks, but leaving it double there. Miramot actually, well, if Alina Petz manages to stick this one perfectly, she would actually be in a nice position there behind that center guard. At the top of the forefoot. So big shot coming up.
Playing it with quite some speed.
Yeah, it seems quite close.
Perfectly played.
Yeah.
Don't think there is much more you can ask of that.
Yeah, good shot there. Just got a little jam at the end. We'll see if that's going to have any influence on the final score of the sixth end. And the Swiss team there in good position now in the house. Swedish are forced to play a tricky shot now. Either some kind of freeze or bump. They need to move things around. That center guard placed at the start of the end is bothering them for sure. And the Swedes having to think out there what they are going to do.
Det är skönt att få ut en sten, tycker jag. För att ha det lite lätt, alltså. Va? Ska vi slå vilka på den då?
Om vi slår på den här, då måste ju de slå på våran. Då kanske vi kan ta den sen.
Precis. Ja, vi gör det. Jag tycker det känns bra att bli av med en mest. Så riskat med de där frysarna, man vet inte riktigt var de hamnar.
Och vill du spela 20 eller 30?
Spelar ingen roll. Det
Vad
som
var
är bäst.
förra?
50, 45 förra.
Ja, spela 30 då.
Ja, ser bara drygt halva så det är väl bra.
Ja!
20!
Ja.
After having decided for the tap, hard sweeping there required. And a little roll to the side.
And now Miramot will just try to roll back.
Yeah, I think
cover.
Miramot really wants specially, I think, to do hits and stays now. As if she hits and stays, she will have two shots. And if she manages to keep that situation until the end, then certainly she will force Maria Pritz to draw only for one. Carmen Schaefer playing third for Switzerland. Yeah, well, actually, they just replaced that rock exactly where it was before. That seems a little bit wide. Christina Bertrup doesn't seem really satisfied there. And, well, she hits the rock, but she really rolls out. Maybe it was just a little bit too fast or just a little bit wide. Well, Miramot thinking where should she come now to place her second shot. Well, if she tries to go behind the center guard, well, she can take really good position, but there's a big risk of leaving a double takeout. As, I don't know, either trying to take out the red one as she's showing finally. It's probably the best options, as she will for sure not leave any double, or a very, very complicated one. But she must hit and stay. Carmen Schaefer releases this rock. Seems a little bit wide and fast. I think knowing she was playing on the side, finally decided to upper her weight. Ends up just rolling out, and now only one rock. 3/4 hidden there in the middle. Maybe a possibility to tap it with a hack weight and roll behind that corner guard now. Oops.
Ooh, and just hits the guard.
Yeah, Christina Bertrup not in her top form there. But, well, at least she took that guard away, but doesn't take any good position in the house. And now Miriam Ott will probably just try and replace the guard there, and will be in actually quite a good position to steal. And we still remind you that if you have any questions or comments, you can always write to us at live@curlingchampionstour.org, the address that you see now at the bottom of your screen.
Also jetzt klebt immer so Zeugs unten dran, schon unglaublich.
And a nice guard goes up by Miriam Ott.
Yeah, I think there's no possibility to remove that yellow one directly, and now Maria Pritz will have to draw now and take the shot rock. Well, I think that's the option now. They're thinking, how are we going to score two with our two last rocks, and only option now is get one buried shot there behind those two center guards. The yellow one is well placed, but is not really deep in the forefoot, so I think for a drawer like Maria Pritz, it's a relatively routine shot now. Needs to get roughly T-line weight, get quite close to the guard, and get a nice swing at the end.
Ganska bra! Bra linje! Bra fart! Gärna! Gärna! Ja! Hårt! Jättehårt! Hårt!
They're sweeping hard.
Has to pass the guard.
Well.
It seems like, well, Miriam said it curled really a lot. That's the risk we've seen on this ice when you play on the sides. That's three shots in a row that are not unsuccessful now for the Swedish team. And no chance to score two now, I think, as Miriam Ott can actually take now a really good position in the house to steal even more than one. Swedish not really awake there today. And the Swiss team taking advantage of it. Well, Maria Pritz was a little bit slow there. She probably the rock to curl out. So I think even if it had passed the guard, it would have never hit the forefoot. Despite the hard sweeping of Maria Wennerström and Christina Bertrup. Now Miriam Ott playing her last rock of the end to take a commanding position now in the sixth. Very important end to score. Just rubs off the guard. Ends up in the house though. Good speed there from Miriam Ott, who probably would have ended up frozen on her own. And now a tricky draw now for the Swedish team. who have to come now and be about 1/3 in the forefoot to score their one.
I think the Swiss shot rock barely touches the forefoot, so actually a comparatively easy shot if one considers what skips are, or let's say fourths in this case, are expected to play nowadays.
Yeah.
A complete forefoot hit is usually what is expected of you in any situation.
Yeah, coming in there is quite tough though. I mean, she really needs to get a perfect direction. I think expect that the weight will be roughly right, but direction has to be absolutely perfect. It has to pass that yellow on the right and not hit that yellow on the left. Oh, and she seems a little bit fast there. Direction is perfect, but it's going to be a steal of one for the Swiss team, and now Sweden 3 down there at the end of the 6th. 5-2 for Mirja Mott. And yeah, well, they've played this end a bit better, and right now I think the result of this game is probably deserved for now. Sweden in trouble, but they're not out of it. 3 down, 2 ends to go. Mission for the Swedes is to score 2, steal 1, and try and get that game to the extra end. Well, they'll go for some offense now, as Suttren doesn't really need to score anymore, being 3 up. They will for sure defend. We're live from Basel. This is Curling Champions Tour event, the Women's Master, and my name is Roger Gulke, and I'm commentating with Bastian Wies. So hard sweeping from the Swedes, who need to get their second corner guard. As the first Swiss guard ended up also as a corner guard. And Mirja Mott taking no risk, she's just going to remove it. Carmen Kung playing run back, a little push, run back, sorry, peeling. And no problem for the lead, who was actually used to playing second.
In the normal lineup, where there is Janine Greiner on the team, she actually still does play second rocks, I believe.
Yeah, that's it.
They are now in a testing phase for Sochi, trying the different lineups when Alina Pats would come into play. In case of illness, injury, or just in case of bad performance.
Yeah, hopefully more illness or injury, or hopefully nothing, really.
Yeah, well, we won't. That's usually what what you hope for as a nation. If your alternate doesn't have to play at the big event, then that usually means that your team is doing quite well.
Yeah, it's always a good thing. I mean, usually fifth players are coming to all those championships expecting and hoping not to play in a way. As if they don't play, that means their team on the ice is fine and there's no need to change a winning team. Well, I think before there were not that often changes though, but I think when you see Now, recent World and European Championships, changes in the teams happen quite often, especially if the performance of the team is not particularly satisfying. Sometimes the coaches try to sort of change a little something to create a little, dynamic, to recreate a new dynamic in the team. So we'll see what will happen at the European Championships.
Well, there is actually teams that rely on the rotation system. For example, in the past, a good example is the team of David Murdoch and Tom Brewster. They have basically swapped around all the team and finally got to a bronze medal at the last Worlds, I believe.
Mm-hmm. And the Swedish team going for their 2, drawing behind their guard. Seems like it's coming nice, fine there behind that corner guard. And now Miriam Ott, well, trying for the run back. If it doesn't come, then it will hopefully be just a peel. Elena Petz coming up there. Well, she gets the run back, but it doesn't get the peel. Well, no, actually she gets nothing really, because the Red Rock is still in the house. It's not guarded, so it's the only good side of it, but the guard is still there. And the Swedes can draw once again behind, and I think we'll see the Swiss after just taking off the rock in the house. They're 3 up. They don't need to take too many risks. Well, they had to sweep it to pass the guard, but it
looks a bit
just
heavy.
go across the rings. No, it just stops fine. There is possibility for a double.
Hat sie natürlich 2 hinter der Karte. Aber der ist nachher immer noch eine Doppelmöglichkeit, nicht?
Well, they're saying that if they do the double, and if they try the double and miss it, then they will find themselves with 2 rocks behind the guard, which would open up a possible situation for a 3. So they opt finally for the hit and roll and try and get behind the guard in front of the T-line before the Swedish team can do it. So that corner guard finally causing the Swiss a lot of trouble. And she just doesn't get the roll fine. Well, she's a little bit hidden, but I think the Swedes will just, hit and roll the side. Well, if they do that, they have their 2 already, we can say, in a way.
They have to be careful, though, that they don't run the yellow rock into the red at the back of the house, because if they do, then their 2 is basically gone.
Yeah, well, they will still have the corner guard, but it will be more complicated.
Aber er hat so ein bisschen Zibberlet da liegen. Er ist nicht recht gewusst, ob er kommt oder wegflutscht.
Kom med! 30! Nej! Kom med! Nej! Kom med! Nej! Nej! Ja! Fort! Nej! Det är din finish. Bra Lid!
Very, very good shot there from Christina Bertrup, who not only removes the yellow but stays really far away there on the left with her shooter. Miriam will just have to try and hit and roll towards the other red. I don't think there's any possibility for double unless you throw a real rocket.
Achterhand! Ja! Ja! Ja!
Gets the roll, not quite as far as she would have liked to roll, but better than nothing.
Yeah, and now, well, indeed two possibilities, either the hit or the draw. But if they draw behind the guard, they will find themselves with two rocks behind that corner guard, and Miriam has to be then careful because they could be setting up a 3 now, and I think that's what Margareta Sigfridsson is thinking about. There I had probably a chance to score a 3 now. I might as well go for it because I'm 3 down with 2 ends left to go. This one and the next one. So if I can score 3, if I steal, then I win the game. As if I only score 2, then I steal, I only get the extra end. And I have to steal again. So probably I think a good choice there for the Swedish skip. It seems like this rock is ending up really short. Oh la la. Christina Bertrup really angry now, and if Miriam now plays some kind of freeze there behind the red rock, or just a draw, then it will start being really complicated for the Swedes to score 3 or 2 even.
2 voor de 2. Zakken. 85.
10-lijn. Sicher 8, goed, precies.
Ja, zo is hij er laatst voor die hoeveel gespeeld heeft.
Dat is net zo'n finish spoor.
85. 82, 85.
Okay.
Hij moet even besser als hinten.
Ja, genau.
Lang is niet op.
Genderlang.
Voor 8.
Genderlang.
Voor 8. Voor een 8.
Ferry.
Voor 8. Oh, wachten. Nummer een beetje. Wachten.
Die lijn.
Oh, zo prikkelen. Oh, even sloeg. Even sloeg. Oh. Ja, ja, jetzt. Nice.
This rock was a perfect example of great team communication. If you're familiar with curling, you know that talking is close to everything in curling. Sweepers have to tell the person in the house how long this rock is, where they think it will end up, with or without sweeping, whilst the person in the house takes charge of the lane. So in case a rock curls too much, the rock has to be swept, so the line is straightened a bit. And Team Odds certainly did manage this rock quite well. I think they were a bit surprised that it stopped all of a sudden, but still quite a good result. Didn't curl quite as much as they would have liked it, as it's still open, and so there's a possible hit, but does not create a very easy situation for the Swedish team of Margareta Sigfridsson and fourth player Maria Prutz.
geval. Ja. Einfach so, ja.
Ja.
Das 9, oder?
Ja, ist gut.
So drehen.
Ja, weißt du, wenn du nicht machst, rollst du gleich ein bisschen über. Denkst vielleicht noch den eigenen
Ja.
ab.
Wenn wir nass kommen, sind wir nicht säcken, gell?
Nein. Ein bisschen überwicken sollten wir.
Top. Das 9 nur.
Gut.
Das 9.
Ja, tipptopp.
Noch ein bisschen rauswicken,
Ja.
dass wir säcken kommen.
Ja.
So Mary Mott really wants now just to stay with 2 shots in the house.
You know! Yeah! You know!
If they can force Sweden to score only 1, they will be 2 up with last rock in the last end, which is a really good situation.
And close to the double, but doesn't quite get it. And
I think that the red one is shot in on the yellow there.
Yeah, I think there is the red rock definitely second.
Yeah.
So now it will be a fairly easy hit and stick for 2 for Maria Prutz.
Yep, just to make sure he hits that nicely on the nose or a little bit on the inside. So finally it seems like Sweden will score 2 in the 7th end. Give themselves a chance to come back in the game and keep the score tight for the last end. And I think that's no problem for Maria Prutz.
Looks just fine.
2 for Sweden. And
After
it's
7.
5-4 the score. Oh, well, they're still looking actually at the rocks, trying to make sure. Carmen Schaefer doesn't want to give up a point like this. Yeah, I think it's 2. And 5-4. The last end is going to start soon, and we'll see the Swedish team desperately trying to steal, while the Swiss team will try and take out all the rocks they can.
And we would like to update you on what happens on the other sheets. On sheet 1 we've got the Swedish team of Anna Hasselborg playing the Japanese team
Tsuchiya.
of Kai Tsuchiya. Anna Hasselborg leading in 8-5-4 without.
Yeah, so the Japanese 1 down with last rock in the last end, so we'll see what happens. And then a Swiss derby there. Team Felcher who played the skins game yesterday as they qualified from the A road. Winning against Team Greeby, 3 up. Well, no, actually they won. Sorry, 5-2. The game went quite fast there. And Felcher advances to the semifinal. And this is our sheet of ice.
No play on sheet 4. And on sheet 5 we've got the current Swiss champion Silvana Tirenzoni winning over the German team of Andreas Schöpp 3-2 after 8 ends and advancing to the semis.
Yeah, so the Japanese are still in the game there, but both teams that qualified from the C road got eliminated. Well, that's often what happens is when you qualify from the C road, you have to play so much more games, and they finished quite late yesterday evening. Had to wake up early. Oh. And so they're more tired as the other teams are quite fresh. And finally, then A-road teams are through. Just Anna Hasselborg has to see if she's going to make it or not.
And here we could see a soft peel attempt. Stay with the attempt, of course, due to the free guard zone, the 4-rock rule. You're not allowed to remove opponent's rocks with your lead rocks. You can only move them, but you're not allowed to remove them from play. If you do, they get placed at the very spot where they were before the last rock was thrown.
Free guard zone rule, and teams always like to use it when they have to steal, placing 2 center guards now that cannot be removed from play.
Yeah, they're close to perfectly played. There is a lot of separation between them and basically no double clearing.
And they're not one perfectly in front of the other, which is always a good situation. It gives a better chance of getting nicely tucked behind them. And Miriam just asking to draw behind.
Right on the T-line. And now Maria Sigfridsson asks Maria Wennerström to put a freeze right on the played rock.
Yeah, well, I think that, well, even though this yellow rock is really nicely placed in the center, it's just maybe a little bit too far now, because the Swedish can now use it. If they just tap it back just 10 centimeters, I mean, that's enough. They could lie shot and have backing behind, so that would be perfect for Swedes. And this is one of those key shots there. This is this typical second key shot in those kinds of situations where if they place the rock nicely there, it's a possible scorer.
Nicely played.
Bra indeed. Very bra. They're not shot, but they're lying in a really nice position there. And just a simple peel for Miriam Ott. And now we'll see Sweden replacing a center guard. Far away from the rings, close to the hog line. Or no, they're going to want to go directly in the house. Maybe it's a little bit early now. The thing is that knowing they're not shot, they don't want to completely block themselves the center too, because they need to take the shot at some point or the other. So apparently now is better than later. At least for Margareta Sigfridsson.
Nej, vi hade sova förra.
Jag tänkte bara den tappade fart när den dök. Det var farten jag försöker. Ja. Vill du trycka eller bara frysa?
Jag vill helst trycka, men jag tycker att linjen är viktigast.
Absolut. Spela frysen får ni sopa liksom. Ja. På den någon centimeter. Jag är lite så på nu. Ni måste ju dit. Ja.
Är det frysen?
Trelösare. Känns som spåret borde vara lättare om något. Ja, det tror jag. 65.
Lite tajtare, är det mer fart?
Lite hårdare bara.
Nej, köla då, köla.
En liten dukt.
Har vi längre ut?
Det är dukt.
Längre ut.
Pass på. Liten dukt. Nej. Nej.
Needs to curl.
Nej.
Kör.
That's a really nice shot there again.
Still not shot rock though.
Yeah, but really well placed now on the button. Miramont has to be careful now. The angles are really good there for the Swedish team.
En we proberen daar zo etwas.
Yeah, the Swedes really have perfect angles.
Wenn er einfach auftut, ist okay,
they're
oder?
not saying that, yeah, we should try and open and do a little bit more than that. So run back ask now.
Oh.
Whoa.
Just a little bit wide. Oh,
Oh,
Lord.
just misses it.
I think she just pushed it shot there, actually.
Ganska hög. Jag vill lägga tillbaka
Indeed,
den
yes.
lite på den sidan. Ganska hög
Shucks.
då. Så den är inte så lätt att få träff där nere. Bak är bra. Mellan också okej.
Aye, indeed. Swedish and having played like all their shots perfectly so far. Really in a good position now. As Christina Bertrup throws her first rock of this 8th end.
Bra linje. Fin fart. Hake. Eller bara stanna. Bara stanna. Mellan. Bara mellan. Ja. Ska vi släppa då? Okej, Nina. Det är bra. Bra fart.
Over curls a bit.
Christina Bertrup not overly satisfied with that shot. Well, it's still a center guard, but it would have been better to guard the other side of those reds.
But
Well, in the end, in fact, those two red ones are a little bit separate, even if they're hit on the they're hit on the left there. The red on the button there will hit the yellow. But anyway, the Swiss have to hit. They have to move things around. Can't leave that situation as it is. Oh,
Good shot. Clearing up things. The forfeit is now cleared out again, which is always a good thing if you've got a last rock in it.
yeah, but there's still that wicked center
Decisive
guard.
end.
Not allowed to do any mistake now for the Swiss. Those two rocks, those two red rocks are nice on the side. They're in theory not too dangerous, but you never know.
65, jag med. 4! Den ser lång ut härifrån. Inte så lång. Bra fart. Den ser lång ut härifrån. Den är bra. Ja, bra linje. Undsätt lång. Den som är mitt på tid. Här. Kör nu. Jag skulle ha gått på instinkten.
Good shot there.
So.
Good position in the house. Miriam Ott has to open that center. And even try and get a bonus by removing one of those two red ones. Here's Carmen Schaefer. A little bit wide. And the Swedish, I think, putting quite a lot of pressure there on the Swiss. They have good position in the house. They have 3 rocks inside. Miriam Ott is one ahead and has the last rock, so right now she's maybe already thinking in her mind, yeah, I'll have to be drawing the forefoot. Getting already mentally prepared. As Maria Pritz will throw one more center guard.
Den går en bit ut den här. Nära. Hake. Gärna dra när ni kan. Ja. Är den mot? Då fryser vi. Den är där. Tryck en sten.
That's long guard there.
Ja, det är inte så tokigt.
Well, those two rocks can be removed all at once.
Yeah, and there will be no center guard for sure now. They're losing completely their position in the middle with that shot. I think they're putting back Mariamot in the end suddenly, after having had really good position the whole way around.
Clearing. Good. Tip-top. Bring it aus. Bring it wirklich aus.
Ja.
First rock of this 8th end for Miriam Ott, the Swiss skip who will represent Switzerland at the Olympic Games. Oh. Looks close. Yeah, and everything is gone now. And now Sweden will have to think where they will want to put that rock to bother Miriam Ott as much as possible. They've lost roughly all their position in the middle now, and they will certainly leave either an open hit or an open draw there for Switzerland to win it. Still, it's not over yet, and they're going to make sure they put as much pressure as they can on the Swiss.
Det är mitt på 12, bajta 8.
Det känns som man kan lägga en på rött nästan om man går runt cornern.
Tangera rött.
Ja.
Att det är mer press, ja. Det känns som bättre press.
Ja. Man får aldrig utdelning på de där i mitten fram. Alltså de går ju inte i den, de tar ju inte is för i närheten av det.
De kommer ju inte gå på take om vi drar den hit.
Nej, jag tror hon kommer dra oavsett.
Ja. Men då har vi en
Taking first all is blocking the center. They are looking if maybe just drawing behind that corner guard, which will allow them to be a little bit more shot. This may be a better option. Miriamot hasn't played in that many draws recently. Just finally just draw one in behind there.
Tycker ni det? Jag gillar det här. Det är det att annars om vi ligger i framkant måste hon dra runt den.
Vi hindrar inte dragen mer tycker ni om vi lägger den här?
Ja, jag vet inte. Jag tycker att hon inte kommer, hon behöver ju inte spela på stanna på knappen, hon kan ju spela med hemskt mycket marginal.
Ja,
liksom,
det är okej. Vi kör det här blir bra.
Det är 70. Ja, denna har varit 80.
Maria Pritz, 4th of this defending champions team. 2 silver medal at the Worlds. Trying to be shot. Looks a little bit fast there. Well,
not a very good result, but still there is 3 red rocks in the house, so Miriam Ott will have to outcount them. And she elects to play the takeout, feels more comfortable.
Yeah, not allowed to roll out there, huh? But she hasn't played much draws recently, so I think that's why she's opting for the takeout. There's no right or wrong call, really. It's what you feel more. I think most teams would probably play a draw in that kind of situation, but maybe she's feeling the takeout more now, and yeah, well, it's her decision. We'll see if she manages to win the game right now. If she rolls out, she loses, so she has to be really careful.
Sweeping.
All
that's
right,
a hit
she's
and stick for the win.
Good shot from Miriam Ott.
Thank you.
Didn't lose her nerves. got that hit and stay. Good normal takeout, and the defending champions are eliminated, and the Swiss team continues the competition after a good win there against Sigfridsson. And so congratulations to Miriam Ott, and we'll be seeing the semi-final very soon at 11:15.
Slightly delayed, but
well, I think now everybody is awake now, and we'll be there to be watching. Well, anyway, like usual, it was always a pleasure to come with you.
So it was for me, Roger.
Yeah, we were live the quarterfinal in Basel, Switzerland, the Curling Champions Tour event. It was Miriam Ott against Team Sigfridsson. Victory for Miriam Ott, 6-4, if I remember well the score. And my name is Roger Gulka. I was commentating with Bastian Viss. And well, we'll see you later then.